Welcome to Finance with Avery. In this video, I want to give you an overview of the top 5 no penalty CD certificate of deposit accounts ranked by APY annual percentage yield for January 2024. Now, a no penalty CD is typically good for someone who wants to earn, a nice high APY, nice high interest rate on a lump sum of money for a certain amount of time. However, they want access to that money, if they need it and be able to withdraw it without any kind of penalty. But that's the main difference between a no penalty CD and a regular CD, is that after a certain amount of time, usually it's like 7 days or 30 days, depending on the financial institution, after that time is up, you can withdraw the whole amount of your CD, the principal and interest, without any kind of penalty. Now, on regular CDs, if you withdraw your money before the term is up, then you will get hit with a penalty. Sometimes it's like 180 days worth of interest, or the whole amount of interest, or a certain, flat rate fee or something like that. It just kind of depends on the bank or financial institution. But with a regular CD, you will get hit with a penalty when you withdraw your money before that term is up. And in this video, with the overview of these CD accounts, I'm going to tell you about the minimum deposit requirements, if they have any, and also give you an example of a interest calculator so you can see how much interest would be earned if you had a certain amount of money in one of these CDs for the certain term length for the CD. And before we jump into the list, I'm going to give you an overview of common features that all of these CDs have in common to kind of wrap it up, so that way I'm just not repeating the same thing for every CD. And also, before the top 5 list, I'm going to tell you about some other banks and financial institutions that offer no penalty CD accounts that are more well known, more popular, because the banks and financial institutions and credit unions that made it to my top 5 list aren't as well known. And I understand some people may be a little hesitant about putting a certain amount of money in a bank or financial institution or credit union that they're kind of unfamiliar with, haven't heard much about or anything. And that's totally understandable. And that's why I'm also going to tell you about some other banks and financial institutions that offer no penalty CD accounts that are very well known. I've actually used some of them myself personally. And I have timestamps down below in the description, so you can jump to any section in the video at any time. But now I'm going to talk about features that all of these accounts have in common. First up, and most importantly, all of these accounts in this video are either FDIC insured or NCUA insured. For the banks that I'm talking about in this video with CD accounts, they're going to be FDIC insured. And the credit unions that made it to the top 5 list are NCUA insured. I'm going to tell you about both of these. If you've seen these videos on my channel, you've definitely heard about FDIC insured. This is the first time I'm kind of talking about NCUA insured, but some of these credit unions, they're offering these high rates through Raisin, and I'll tell you about that as well. So they're offering them more nationwide. Typically, I don't talk about credit unions too much on my channel because I want to reach a broad audience across nationwide. And so credit unions have certain stipulations about being members of the credit union. You have to do this or live here or work for this company or something like this to be a part of the credit union. However, the credit unions in this video on the top 5 list are offering their accounts pretty much nationwide through Raisin. And I'll tell you about Raisin in a moment as well. But first off, FDIC insured, very important, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. The banks in this video have FDIC insurance on their CD accounts. And so FDIC was an independent agency created by Congress during the Great Depression to instill safety and security and confidence in the banking system. And what they do pretty much is they protect your deposits in accounts up to $250,000. So if something would happen to that bank or financial institution with FDIC insurance, they go bankrupt, they go under, collapse, anything like that, the FDIC insurance would step in and pretty much give your money back to you. Any bank that's had that FDIC insurance that's gone under, customers at banks with FDIC insurance have never lost their funds. So there has definitely been banks that have collapsed, gone bankrupt, pretty much had to, shut down. And the ones with FDIC insurance, customers that had their money there, they were made whole through the FDIC insurance. Now, most banks and financial institutions with FDIC insurance don't collapse, but if they do, and if some of them have, then FDIC insurance would step in. And now NCUA is the National Credit Union Share Insurance Fund that was created by Congress in 1970 to insure members' deposits in federally insured credit unions. Each credit union member has at least $250,000 in total coverage. So it's the same amount pretty much typically as FDIC insurance. And the Share Insurance Fund also has the backing of the full faith and credit of the United States. And credit union members have never lost even a penny of insured savings at a federally insured credit union. So very similar to FDIC insurance as far as the amounts and the backing and the security of it. Now, next up, All of these APYs in this video are fixed rate APYs. So that means they are going to stay the same for the entire term of the CD, whether it be 6 months, 4 months, 11 months, 13 months, whatever the term of the CD is, that APY will stay the same month to month, day to day, week to week. You don't have to worry about it changing, dropping down, or anything like that. Now, if that CD drops their APY for new customers, down 0.10%, down 1% or something like that, that's not going to affect you because you already have that APY locked in. Now, on the other hand, if they raise the CD for new customers, then that's not going to affect you either. However, that's a little bit more unfortunate because you have that rate locked in at that, let's say 4.50%, and then they offer 5%. Well, you're still at 4.50% while they're offering 5%. So it goes both ways. It works for you and kind of, I guess, not really against you, but you know what I mean, kind of a pro and a con to that. However, these are no penalty CD accounts, which means you can, take your money out after that sometimes they have a lockup period, that 7 months, 30 days or something like that, initial lockup period. But after that amount, you can withdraw your whole funds and then open up a new CD with that higher APY if you want. But that fixed rate works more in your favor, especially in an environment and an economy like we're in now, where the federal funds rate is kind of staying the same, kind of staying stagnant for a while. However, there's been mentioning of 3 cuts or so in this year 2024. So typically when the Fed funds rates decrease and there's cuts, then savings rates and CD rates go down. And I talk about that more in depth in the history of that in my video, federal funds rates versus CD and saving accounts rates. So check that out. I'll link that down in the description. But yes, all of these accounts in this video have fixed rate APYs. Also, there are no monthly maintenance fees with any of these accounts in this video. So you don't have to worry about a certain $5, $10 or anything like that charged to you every month just to have the account open. No monthly maintenance fees at all with any of these accounts. And also there's no early withdrawal penalty, which is what makes these accounts no penalty CD accounts. And I talked about that more in the beginning of the video. So yes, after that initial period that they may be locked up with your funds for 7 days, 30 days or whatever, after that, you can withdraw your full amount, including the interest from these CD accounts with no penalty. You don't have to worry about getting hit with 180 days worth of interest or any kind of fee or penalty fee or anything like that. No early withdrawal penalty for any of these accounts. Now, with that being said, there is no partial withdrawals permitted for any of these accounts. So you can't withdraw a part of your deposit or anything with these accounts. Sometimes they have it where you can withdraw the interest that you've accrued, month to month or something like that. However, you can't withdraw part of your initial deposit in these CD accounts. Now, you can withdraw the full amount with the interest, like I just stated previously in the section about the no early withdrawal penalty. However, you can't withdraw like half of the CD here this month and half of it the next month or something like that. So partial withdrawals of the principal are not permitted with any of these accounts. And now that I've gone over that section, however, before I jump into the top 5 list, I do want to tell you about some of the more well-known banks that offer no penalty CD accounts as well that have high yields associated with them. And before I jump into the top 5 list, I want to give an overview of some banks that are offering no penalty CD accounts with nice high yields, just not high enough to get on my top 5 list, but still very high. But they're offered by banks that are more well known than what made it on the top 5 list. So starting right here with Synchrony, they have an 11 months no penalty CD at 4.50% APY, and there is no minimum initial deposit required to open this CD, so you can open it with any amount you want. And this one has a short lockup period of about 6 days, so you won't be able to withdraw your CD within that first 6 days, but then after that you can withdraw the full amount with no penalty fee. And with this CD by Synchrony, the interest is compounded daily and credited to the account monthly. And calculation example for this CD, if you had $10,000 in this CD with Synchrony at 4.50% APY for 11 months, after 11 months with interest, that $10,000 would be around $10,411.55. And now moving on to another well-known bank with a nice high yield CD, we have Ally with an 11th month no penalty CD at 4.55% APY. And there is no minimum deposit required to open this CD, and the interest is compounded daily and credited to the account monthly. And this one has a similar lockup period. You can't withdraw the full balance or any interest within that first 6 days, but then after that 6 days you can withdraw the full amount and any interest without any kind of penalty fee associated with it. So calculation example for this CD, if you had $10,000 in this CD at 4.55% APY for 11 months, after 11 months with the interest, that $10,000 would be around $10,416.32. And now moving on to another well-known bank, we have Marcus by Goldman Sachs with a 13-month no penalty CD at 4.70% APY. There is a minimum initial deposit required of $500 with this CD, so you have to have at least $500 to open this CD. It doesn't have to be just $500 for the CD. You can open it with, more than that, but it has to be at least $500 that you're depositing in this CD to open it. And this one has the same period to withdraw your CD. You can withdraw the full balance of your CD beginning 7 days after funding it with no penalty fee. And with the interest on the Marcus by Goldman Sachs no penalty CD, it is compounded daily and credited monthly. So calculation example for this CD, if you had $10,000 in this CD at 4.70% APY for 13 months, after 13 months, that $10,000 with interest would be around $10,509.79. And moving on to one more well-known bank with a high-yield CD, we have CIT Bank with an 11-month no-penalty CD at 4.90% APY. And this CD with CIT Bank has a $1,000 minimum initial deposit required to open this CD. So you have to have at least $1,000 to start this CD. It could be more than $1,000, of course, but the minimum amount to open this CD is $1,000. So this one has the same little lockup period as the previous CDs. No withdrawals are permitted during the first 6 days following the receipt of funds. But after that, you can withdraw the full amount with interest, no penalty. And calculation example for this CD, if you had $10,000 in this CD at CIT Bank at 4.90% for 11 months, after 11 months with interest, that $10,000 would be around $10,447.88. So total interest earned of that would be around $447.88. So those are some of the more well-known banks that are offering high yields on no penalty CDs. I know there's a good chance you probably have heard of at least one of those banks, 2, 3, possibly all 4 of those banks. And so now, before I jump into the top 5 list, I want to tell you about SaveBetter by Raisin, because all 5 of the CDs on this top 5 list are offered through SaveBetter by Raisin, which is kind of like a middleman. But I want to have this section right here to talk to you more about what SaveBetter by Raisin is, and then I'll jump into the top 5 list. So Raisin works with over 30 insured banks and credit unions to offer high rates to various markets. But some of these banks and credit unions don't have the ability to have their accounts available nationwide, but they want to reach more people. So they want it to be available nationwide. This is where Raisin and SaveBetter comes in. They work with these community-focused banks and these various other credit unions, different kind of banks, to offer their, different accounts nationwide, whether it be their high-yield savings accounts, their money market accounts, or their CD accounts, the one-stop stop that you can go to open an account with them and then have access to these high yields offered through these other banks that you typically wouldn't have access to if you're not in their market, in their local area or something like that. And at SaveBetter themselves, they're not a bank. They're pretty much like a digital storefront where the banks and credit unions can promote their deposit products. Like I was telling you, those banks and credit unions, they want to get their products and their accounts out to more people. They'll use SaveBetter as pretty much like their digital storefront to get the word out for them and kind of organize it and everything and have the accounts. So your money is still actually in these banks and credit unions, but your account is linked to the banks through SaveBetter. Basically, there's a digital platform that gives people access to a variety of deposit products through a single account. And then SaveBetter customers, they use the platform to fund these FDIC insured products offered by various U.S. and United States banks and credit unions with a wide range of maturities and APYs, annual percentage yields. So SaveBetter is operated by SaveBetter LLC, a 100% subsidiary of Raisin GmbH, which is a trailblazer for open banking in deposits and investment space. In the United States, Raisin helps banks and credit unions improve their deposit funding by offering national reach for their retail deposit products and provides savers with better access, more choice, and higher convenience when evaluating savings products from FDIC insured banks and NCUA insured credit unions. And now that we've gone over what SaveBetter is, let's get into this top 5 list. And coming in at number 5 is the Ponce Bank 4-month certificate of deposit at 5.30% APY. There is a $1 minimum initial deposit required to open this account, and the interest is compounded daily and credited monthly. And you may withdraw the full amount of your CD with interest at no penalty 30 days after account opening. Calculation example for this one, if you had $10,000 in this CD at 5.30% APY for 4 months, after 4 months, that $10,000 with interest will be around $10,173.48. Ponce Bank was founded in 1960 in the Bronx of New York by migrants from Puerto Rico. They are a certified CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution, and MDI, Minority Depository Institution. Ponce Bank offers personal and business banking services, including checking accounts, savings accounts, and loans. Coming in at number 4 is the Mission Valley Bank 3-month certificate of deposit at 5.35% APY. There is a $1 minimum initial deposit required to open this account, and the interest is compounded daily and credited monthly. And you may withdraw the full amount of this CD with interest and no penalty 30 days after account opening. Calculation example for this CD: if you had $10,000 in this 3-month CD at 5.35% APY, after 3 months, that $10,000 with interest would be around $10,131.09. Mission Valley Bank is an independent community-owned bank founded in 2001 with a headquarters in Sun Valley, California. They offer several commercial and personal banking products. And coming in at number 3 is the TechCU Technology Credit Union 5-month certificate of deposit at 5.36% APY. There is a $1 minimum initial deposit required to open this account, and the interest is compounded daily and credited monthly. And you may withdraw the full amount of this CD with interest at no penalty 30 days after account opening. Calculation example for this one: if you had $10,000 in this 5-month CD at 5.36% APY, after 5 months, that $10,000 with interest would be around $10,219.87. Technology Credit Union was formed in 1960 by some employees at the Fairchild Camera and Instrument Semiconductor Division. They offer deposit accounts, loans, wealth management, and more to their members. TechCU headquarters is in San Jose, California. And number 2 on the list is the Greenwood Credit Union 12-month CD at 5.37% APY. There is a $1 minimum initial deposit required to open this account, and the interest is compounded daily and credited monthly. And you can withdraw the full amount with interest earned at no penalty 30 days after account opening. Calculation example for this one: if you had $10,000 in this CD for 12 months at 5.37% APY, after 12 months, that $10,000 with interest earned would be around $10,536.88. Greenwood Credit Union was founded in 1948 with a long history of providing financial services to people in Warwick, Kent County in the state of Rhode Island. They offer personal and business deposit accounts, loans, and other financial services to their members. Greenwood Credit Union headquarters is in Warwick, Rhode Island. And number 1 on the list is Optimum Bank with their 5-month certificate of deposit at 5.40% APY. There is a $1 minimum initial deposit required to open this account, and the interest is compounded daily and credited monthly. And you can withdraw the full amount with interest earned anytime after 30 days with no penalty. Calculation example for this one: if you had $10,000 in this CD at Optimum Bank, after 5 months at 5.40% APY, your $10,000 with interest would be around $10,221.57. Optimum Bank was founded in November 2000 by a group of local businessmen in Broward County, Florida. They offer personal and business financial products and services, and their headquarters is in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So that is it with the video of the top 5 no penalty CD accounts ranked by APY for January 2024. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Happy New Year again. Take care.